I'm Tim Herrera with the Sacramento County Office of Education, here with another Teacher of the Year profile. Right now we're speaking with Elsa Lyon, who's one of 2 Teachers of the Year for the Elk Grove Unified School District. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so tell us where you teach and tell us what you teach.
I teach at Pinkerton Middle School in Elk Grove, and I teach Humanities, so it's an English and history blend, seamlessly put together, so we get to cover a lot of curriculum. And I teach 7th and 8th graders. Typically we loop with the students, so I get to have them as 7th graders and keep them. This year I'll start with just an 8th grade class.
So what do you emphasize in the English portion?
In the English portion, the primary things we emphasize right now are writing and then the ability to closely read for information. So those are the 2 main factors that we're pushing, I guess.
So it's kind of mechanics, foundational stuff.
It goes deeper than mechanics and foundational stuff. You know, we do the grammar and we do the mechanics, but primarily it's the ability of the students to really pull information out of text and to formulate an argument and support those arguments that they're formulating. I think by the time we get them in 7th and 8th grade, for the most part, they are very good readers, and grammar is decent, but getting them to express themselves in written language is really kind of the challenge you're at in middle school, because the middle schoolers, they have all of the feelings, they are not yet ready to articulate all of them. So bringing out that articulation of what they want to say and what they think is, I think, the primary focus of the writing.
How do you draw that out of them? How do you, because they're at a certain stage where maybe it's not cool to express yourself.
So you draw that out of them by making it fun. And when we're talking about essays, we're talking about what goes on the paper. So there's very little to do with what they think, you know, what their peers perceive as cool. We definitely have a culture at our campus of success. So it's, the vast majority of our kids want to do well. We have a rewards honor system called Pride of the Pack that we usually have something between 70, 80, sometimes 85% of our students who are at a 3.0 or higher. The culture at our school is definitely about academic success, and you know, you get applauded in class if you make a great argument or a great statement that, you know, the kids can't challenge. So lots of discussion to bring out arguments, lots of rewards and praise for when they are able to do some innovative thinking, but definitely the top writers are appreciated by their peers. 7th and 8th graders have, you know, a reputation for being difficult to deal with.
I've heard that, yes.
But the truth is that they are simply young people who are in the process of figuring things out, and they want structure. They want to rebel. That's the nature of the age range. So you give them very firm guidelines on where they should be and what they should be doing. Allow them to rebel against those and get frustrated with how you won't let them use the restroom more than 3 times in a term. But then you have those parameters, and inside there they thrive. They are beautiful, wonderful, squirrely, but amazing young people.
So when they're writing at this stage, you really have to emphasize, okay, give me your evidence. Give me a good, clear argument.
Yeah, it starts with making sure that they have a strong claim, right? That they have an idea of what they want to say, and then we do a lot of outlining and organization and all of those things to sort of pull out the argument. And not everybody makes it to a perfect ability to explain exactly what they're thinking, but the growth is there, and the vast majority of them can write some pretty impressive papers by the time they leave middle school. So
I understand too that you teach honors humanities. Explain what that is.
So Pinkerton, as I mentioned, we have overall a very academic culture. And within that, every teacher on our campus is an honors teacher. So we each have our curriculum area. We typically teach 2 grade level classes and 1 honors class. There are times at Pinkerton where there are teachers who have 2 honors classes to the one, so 2/3 of their kids are in an honors program. And the honors program is wonderful and fun. But the classes tend to be a little bit larger because we focus on the the grade level kids who maybe need more support are in the smaller classes. The honors classes get pretty large. But they are definitely rewarding when it comes to opening up a discussion and letting them fly with it. But the grade level kids can do that as well. There are a lot of teachers in the world who really want only honors kids, And the grade level kids are just as dynamic and just as rewarding. They just take a little bit more support to organize that for them.
So we're kind of in an era where there's a strong emphasis, math, science, STEM. As a humanities teacher, what does that make you feel as far as, emphasizing that, we need humanities, we need English, we need...
There's a struggle with social science. Currently social science isn't tested, so that is lovely for a social science teacher without having as much accountability on them, but is super problematic for making sure that kids are getting their social studies instruction. With English language arts, thankfully, the same people who would say science and math acknowledge the need for a kid to be able to read and write. And so the English constantly has that support. Humanities has been really great for being able to fully bring in the history and make sure that it's dynamic and good for the kids. But definitely the work that I do feels valued. There's no change in that. Now, what I would like to say is that a push toward a little bit less rote and a little bit more things like civics education is a priority for me. I'd like to see kids involved in their communities and in their school and so forth. So I guess the reading, writing, math skills, important, but I would like to bring in the things that are real for the kids that they can really engage in.
I think we're starting to see kind of a swerving closer toward more civic ed and a stronger emphasis and letting kids know what it's, the importance of being a good citizen and what it means.
Right, yeah. A variety, there's definitely a slight push. You can feel it when you go to the district office, when you're here at the County Office of Education, you can feel it. It definitely doesn't translate directly to all the school sites at this point because there's still a whole lot of principals who are trying to achieve the requirements placed on them. But there's a feel for it and a need for it, and we're coming up with some pretty nice ways to involve civics in education. So I started a Civics Education grant a few years ago along with a team on my campus. And we worked at ways to bring civics onto campus that was not interfering with the curriculum. How can we embed it in a way where it doesn't take away from instructional minutes, which every teacher is very jealous of?
And how did you do that?
We started with a House of Representatives program. Pinkerton has an advocacy class. So every class elects a representative, and that's the voice for students on campus. And we worked really hard to make sure that our administrator would give us all the support. So we get a counselor and an administrator and a custodian and the leadership teacher at all of those meetings when they happen, so the kids have an opportunity to express themselves. And that has been wonderful with student success because every kid on campus almost is impacted by it. They voted for the person who represented them. The person who represented them comes back and makes a report to them about what's going on. For the kids, the primary successes have been things like having mirrors put back up in the bathroom because they'd been taken down because kids were graffitiing on them. But for the adults, it's proved very important. When we sent our kids out the first time to figure out what kids wanted on campus, we realized that there was a shortage of drinking fountains that worked. So the kid voice allows us to be more receptive to exact student needs. But we also have, we've been doing mock elections. We're going to advance that further. And we have an advocacy program that involves 10 civics lessons the kids get over the course of the year, which includes things like citizenship. And that citizenship is not just being good, like here are the different kinds of citizen you could be. And the kids identify who they are as a citizen. Are they someone who's going to make change? Are they someone who's going to support the change? Those types of things. So those are the main programs we have going right now, but whatever push we can get for more civics, I think is important.
And you're teaching the kids to be good citizens and lets them know that they have a voice in their community, and so that carries on when they get older.
Right. The studies have shown that if kids participate when they're younger, they continue to participate when they're older. And there was definitely a move, 20 years ago away from civics, 30 years ago away from civics toward government and economics. And we need the participatory citizens, so that's the primary focus that I'm working toward the future.
Well, we've enjoyed visiting with you and hearing what you're doing with the students. We've been speaking with Elsa Lyon, who is one of 2 Teachers of the Year from the Elk Grove Unified School District. Congratulations and thanks for being with us.
Thank you, and thank you for your time.